Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing? All right. So we've got a bunch of 10 by 10-inch canvases, and we're going to do a wood plaque, a couple of 6 by 6-inch canvases, a 4 by 12-inch canvas, and then we'll do a finale of a big 16 by 20-inch canvas. So a whole variety of different colors, techniques. We're going to kind of stay in the family of kind of fall colors, but really kind of just a variety of different colors. So to start out, we have this 10 by 10 inch, and I am going to do a background of black on it, and then we're going to put some nice fall colors on that background of black. Just got all my colors are mixed up just the same as they always are, and they're just 1 part paint, 3 parts Floetrol, and then the colors that do have silicone, I'll let you know when I use any colors that do have silicone, and they have 1 to 2 drops of treadmill oil. All right, now we gotta, so we are gonna do a swipe for this one. And I do have some beautiful extreme sheen gold mixed up, the 24 karat gold. And I have some extreme sheen garnet. Oh, those are just so pretty. And I thought they would be beautiful for some nice fall inspired paint pours. And then we're going to do a reverse dip. We're going to do just a whole variety of different techniques today. We'll do a split cup, a few different techniques. Blown flower. But I'm just, this black does not have silicone. I don't tend to put silicone in my base. So as soon as we get this, I'll, all right. So we are going to do a swipe here. We're going to go ahead. We're going to kind of swipe, kind of almost a zigzag. And then we're going to kind of stretch it out a little bit. Ooh, that's thick. This is some leftover paint I had left over from another project, and it is thick. So we're going to go ahead and put some of that red down. That is actually, it is burgundy. And I'm honestly not sure what this red was. And this is Cheap Paint's yellow ochre. We're going to kind of swipe and then stretch that out. So this is that extreme sheen garnet. So pretty. It is the Deco Arts Extreme Sheen Garnet. And then we'll kind of stretch this out once we get it. I think we'll go ahead and just put a little bit of turquoise. That's Cheap Paint's turquoise. Nice contrasting color in there. And then we have the 24 karat gold. We're going to kind of swipe it into a Z. We're going to swipe with our palette knife. And the colors that have silicone were this, it's Cherry Cobbler, but I cannot remember the brand. I think it's Folk Art. It may be, I believe it is Americana or Folk Art or something like that, but it's Cherry Cobbler. And then that color had silicone, and the turquoise has silicone. And we're going to put just a little bit of this Apple Barrel Spiced Carrot. Just a little. All right. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to swipe kind of with the Z. We had a little bit of drops. So we're going to come in. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and give that a little torch and stretch that out a bit. And then we can always come in with our aquarium tubing and blow out some if you want. This would be a good one to put on your spinner and spin it out a little bit. If you have a spinner set up, I did my video finally of how I set up my with foam core and shower curtain, kind of a setup to kind of spin your art out. So I'm just being real patient and slowly stretching these out. Bringing it back to the center a bit. Now we're going to grab our handy dandy aquarium tubing. Let me wipe my hands off a little bit. So I like to use this, it's just aquarium tubing, and blow out the edges a little bit. And I'm actually going to come in with, I'm just going to take the tip of my knife, dip it in the turquoise just a little bit, and just kind of give it a little bit of swipe through here. Hello, Whitney. How are you doing? How are you doing? So, all right, let me try to give you a better look of that shimmer. That's what really just. Just seeing if I can stretch it out anymore, but it's not going to move too much more, but I'm liking it anyway, so it doesn't need to really move too much more. So, all right, that is our first one. A little under the weather. Oh, it's pretty chilly there. Well, I'm hoping you're feeling better soon. That's no good. That is no fun being under the weather. So here is one from last week I wanted to show, and that one dried really pretty. This is on a 6 by 6 inch tile. I'm going to set that one aside real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside and let it do its thing. Well, maybe we'll give it a quick torch actually. All right, so I'm going to move this one out of the way, and then I'm going to do a reverse dip flower. We have another 10 by 10 inch canvas here. And those are just the Michaels Super Value canvases. "46 and rainy." That is pretty much how our weather is always. We are always 46 and rainy. That is our winter forecast. But we are very used to it. That is probably very, very chilly for you guys down there. So I have got, what I have is a Propel sports drink bottle. This is the bottom of it cut off, and I've just used it over and over and over again. And we're going to do, we're going to pour our paint right over the bottom of the bottle, remove the bottom of the bottle. Then it's going to have a nice flower. And then I'm going to do saran wrap, or like press and seal plastic onto that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and I put a little bit of that spiced carrot. This is school bus yellow. So we're just going to put a little bit. This yellow is a little bit thick, which is good for just this initial center, which will mainly get covered. It'll just show a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and just pour from there. So this one we had just used, and it was very thick. We're going to actually come in and get a little bit of water. Mike says, that's shorts weather for us. So yeah, that's shorts weather for us. But that's a pretty gosh, that is 46 and rainy is like our daily forecast. But I enjoy it. Some people do not enjoy the rain, and I do. I grew up here. I'm just very used to it. So let's see. That is still quite thick. We are going to put just a little bit more water into it. And this is Folk Arts True Burgundy is what this one is. And it is mixed up just 1 part paint to 3 parts Floetrol. Now I've had to add a little bit of water because this paint is I've probably had it 1.5 to 2 years. Finally pulling it out and using it. So it has thickened up a little bit. No worries. I just add a little bit of water. So, all right, that should be enough. So see, that goes a lot better right off the end of the stick. You're wanting it to stream off the end of the stick real nicely. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and pour some here. Actually, you know what I want to do is I want to get my corners a little bit. So I've got Master's Touch Payne's Gray. Then I'm just going to put in each of the corners just to get them kind of covered a little bit, because it's hard to stretch that flower all the way to the So we're just going to spread that around in the corners just a little bit. Yeah, you'd rather have that than the sweaty hot weather any day. See, I would melt. I would not be able to handle your guys' summers. I just wouldn't handle it. I don't like the heat at all. So we're just getting the corners. I know it looks all sloppy, but it'll all get covered up here in just a minute. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and pour some of the burgundy. Some of this cherry cobbler. I have some of that spiced carrot. Craft Smart Plum. Vintage Folk Arts Vintage Tea Rose. Then we're going to use some of that Color Shift Garnet. And then I'm going to put a little bit of that burgundy. And some of the 24 karat gold. And we're just going back through the colors pretty much. I'm mixing them up the order I'm going in though. So then when we pull off the bottle, we're actually going to do a reverse dip. And Fiona Art does this technique. That's where I got the inspiration for this. It's kind of a Fiona flower. You can always warm yourself off easier than you can cool yourself off. Yes. Warm yourself up. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and help it kind of along, help it. And then I'm going to pull that up. And that's okay. I got to drop. It's going to get covered mainly anyways. So, all right. Now I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm just going to, actually, I'm going to go ahead and try to even this out a little bit. It's wanting to go way over that way. So I'm just taking my palette knife straight through. So I am going to go ahead and put just a little bit more of the Payne's Gray over here, mainly on this side, because the paint is wanting to just flow off that other side. And then we're going to do a reverse dip here. I'll show you that. That's just, you can take any, I like to take the plastic off of a canvas and use it. You can take saran wrap, all kinds of stuff, and dip on the top. And I'll show you that in just a minute. And I do have videos on my channel. I've done that. All right. All right, so now I've already taken a piece of saran wrap here, and I'm just going to carefully try to get any air bubbles out. And I'm trying to just kind of pull it to the side just a little bit because it was wanting to go this way too much. This time you can almost fix that a little bit, slightly. So, all right, now I'm just going to pull it up by each corner. All right, so now you can come in with your palette knife. I like to come in and just give it a little bit of a more of a center. All right, now you can kind of give it a quick torch. All right. So in the very edges, just a couple of the very edges, it did pick up just a little bit too much of that Payne's Gray. You can come in and just fix it up right there, but the rest of it has plenty of paint. I used the press and seal, and it kind of picked up just a little bit too much paint on that edges. No worries though. This is Master's Touch Payne's Gray. I love this color. So this past weekend, we went up to Mount St. Helens because they closed down the highway that goes up right up to Mount St. Helens. They closed that down on November 1st. So this was our last opportunity to go up there before they close it down for the season. And so we went to the north side of the mountain. And wow, that's just such a gorgeous sight where to see Mount St. Helens and where the mountain blew up and stuff. When you came up here this last summer, Whitney, did you get to see the mountain? Did you go up to Mount St. Helens? Did you get a chance to go see Mount St. Helens? It's just such an amazing sight. But we went to the north side. So you can, there's two different lookouts. And it was, we went on Halloween. And so, oh my gosh, it was so windy. It was so windy. It was like really windy, like, I don't know, 30, 40 mile per hour winds. But yeah, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous, clear, bright blue sky day. I mean, it was a gorgeous looking day, but it was very cold and windy. But we had a great day. We had a great time. We got to hike around the lake a little bit, and it was just a really good day to we got a chance to get up there before they closed the highway for the year. Oh, you went up to Mount Hood? Oh, okay. Yeah, Mount Hood is a gorgeous area as well. I'm so glad you were able to at least get up to Mount Hood. So yeah, Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens. We have Mount Hood is over in Oregon on the Portland side. And then we live just right over the river in Washington, and we live right at the base of Mount St. Helens. But we live on the southern base of it. And so we got a chance to go to the north side. And that is just so amazing to see directly into the crater where it blew in 1980, where it blew up. So I'm going to go ahead and move this aside, but this is a Fiona flower. Yeah, maybe next time you'll have to come up here again. And definitely, that's a definite, anybody that comes up here to Washington, up here to the Northwest, Southwest Washington area, Mount St. Helens is a must. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this moved out of the way. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a dirty pour here in just a moment. So, all right. Actually, we're going to go ahead and do this plaque this time. So we're going to do this plaque is going to be, I can't decide actually. We're going to do the plaque with a blue background. And then I'm going to do a flip and drag through the middle of it. So this is blue cotton. I got to get the next one out from under there because once I set this one over there, it'll drip on it. So, because it is kind of over the edge of it. But yeah. Yeah, and you were here during the summer, so our mountains, you know, like they're total different. They're absolutely gorgeous both times of the year, or all times of the year. So in the summer, they have just gorgeous, you know, the wildflowers, just the scenery, the wildlife. And then in the, you know, it's already really snowy up there this time of the year. So it's really cool because you got to come sometime and see both times of the year. But sometimes because of our rainy weather up here, it's actually really hard to get up there to the mountain on a clear day when it's snowy. And so it was a nice, beautiful, clear day, but it was already, the mountain was full of snow. And down in the valley below the mountain, I got really good pictures of a herd of elk, and it was just beautiful. So that's what we did for our Halloween. What did you do for Halloween? Did you have a good Halloween? But we got up early, so we got up on the mountain, you know, early. Because it's still to go all the way around to the other side of the mountain. I'm just getting the edges here now. To go all the way up to the other side of the mountain is, you know, quite a trek for us. So, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and I just got a small little like medicine size cup. I'm going to fill just a little bit in here, not too much. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a flip and drag. But real quick, before I do that, I'm going to add some silicone. I'm going to add some silicone to this burgundy. I'm going to add some silicone to this Payne's Gray and the Garnet. And I'm just adding 2 drops of each of the color for each of those colors. Giving it a little bit of a mix, not too much. The weather might be messing up your internet. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, we've had that happen so often. In a couple of days, we're going to have some bad internet. Or we're going to have some bad weather, so I'm hoping our internet sticks out through that. Stayed home and watched scary movies. That sounds like a good Halloween too. So what movies did you watch? I have not watched a scary movie in quite some time. I kind of more into like thrillers than like sci-fi. I don't, some sci-fi is okay, but I'm more into the thriller side. So turquoise, putting a little bit of ultramarine blue. And this is plenty of paint here. Now I'm just putting a tad of each of those colors. And you know what? I think I'm going to put a little bit of this light taupe. It's Craft Smart Light Taupe. But yes, we are in a few days supposed to have some bad weather. And we're going to put just a little bit of that yellow ochre. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a flip and drag on this. So a flip and drag with a surface that's already, it's kind of a interesting little dance here. All right, now we're going to just drag it kind of same as we would with a toilet paper roll or a napkin ring or anything. Just kind of drag and let some paint up as you drag along. Just came back through and pulled that to the edge a little bit. So, all right, we're going to stretch this out a little bit, not too much. We've got that extreme sheen gold that's going to leave that beautiful shimmer. And then we have that garnet as well. Okay, just a moment, because I see something that I could see a little kind of almost chunk wanting to mess up our just pulling this around, kind of stretching that out. So I have already scheduled all of my live streams for the month of November because I wanted to also announce in December, we will only be live one time. I am not going to be live every Wednesday in December. We are going to do a big Christmas party on December. Oh, I meant to look. Is it December 10th or 11th that I did that, Mike, that I scheduled that? It's the Saturday, whichever is the Saturday. Just a moment and Okay, so on December 11th, Saturday, December 11th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on December 11th, we're going to have a Christmas party, and I'm going to have giveaways, and I'm going to have, we're going to have giveaways of paint, of split cup, brand new split cups, of brand new art. I even have gotten a couple of notebooks printed with art and note cards with art and ornaments. So we're going to have giveaways. We're going to have games. I'm going to paint or pour frosting on cookies. I'm going to use some of the techniques of paint pouring to paint on or pour frosting on cookies. And I'm going to paint pour on some canvases and some ornaments. So December 11th is going to be a big kind of party on the channel. And so I will not be live the whole month of December on my normal Wednesdays at all. We're not going to be live on Wednesdays, but I will be live December 11th for a Christmas party to have giveaways and games like Mad Libs type games and a whole bunch of different games. So let me show you the shimmer in this. So this is a 7 by 9 inch plaque, wood plaque. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. That's going to leave beautiful shimmery color there. All right, now we're going to go ahead and grab this. It's a 4 by 12 inch. It's got that gallery wrapped deep canvas, and we're going to use this one. We're going to do a split cup. So, and I am going to go ahead and just raise this up just a tiny bit. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put, I think the colors that we're going to use on this split cup is going to be a yellow ochre. And this split cup is just from Mike's shop, Mike's 3D design on Etsy. And that's, you know, we've got our own 3D printer that we printed these from. We're going to go ahead and use this garnet. And some turquoise, and I'm trying to decide on the other color. I think we'll use this apple tart. And that is from Apple Barrel Apple Tart. I don't think it has silicone. I honestly cannot remember. So, all right, we're going to go ahead now. Just, I'm going to go ahead and do kind of a traveling split cup. I'm actually going to start up here and just travel it down the, actually in the camera, it looks better this way. I'm going to kind of travel it kind of back and forth. And now a couple of these colors do have silicone, so we are going to see some cells pop up. I'm going to bring it back down here and give a little bit down here because it was just all burgundy for a minute. Now these are the deep canvases. They have a 1.5 inch side, so I'm just getting it all out because they do have quite a side to get down. All right. Now just kind of bring it back to the center a little bit. All right, let me get my hands wiped off. And that burgundy color, that garnet, is that extreme sheen. So it's very metallic. The camera does not pick it up, but I'll be able to show it like next week or the week after when it's nice. Probably next week I'll be able to show it nice and dry. And so I'll be able to show the shimmery of it. But all right, that is our split cup. I am going to go ahead and get that moved and see how it does have silicone. So we are having some cells pop up. And you can do split cups with silicone or without. It just depends on what you're wanting. Sometimes I do like it without the silicone to get the real definite striations, the rings to it. And then if you put silicone, you're not going to get such a definite rings, but it just depends on what look you're going for. So I'm going to go ahead. Mike says, I love it. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get it pushed out of the way. Ooh, we're making quite a mess today. All right. So now we have a 6 by 6 inch. And this 6 by 6 inch, I would like to do a blown flower. I'm going to actually go ahead and we're going to put a base down of our Payne's Gray. Pushing enough to go kind of over the edge, down the sides as best as I can. And then when the live is over, I usually go back and get all the edges. All right, we need just a little bit more there. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do a blown flower kind of in the center. Now this flower is not like Shelly Art Bloom because it does not have any of the extra additives, ingredients here. We literally just have Floetrol, paint, a little bit of water, and a little bit of silicone. And see, this base does have silicone, so you got to be real careful. It is going to want to pull away from the edges because of that silicone. So burgundy, nice little plop of burgundy. We're going to do the same colors as we did our reverse dip flower. All right, so now I'm going to want kind of a center. So our center is going to be this carrot or spiced carrot and then school bus yellow. All right, so now you can come in with your world's smallest leaf blower. You could come in with a straw, you know, anything. But I'm going to use this little guy to blow it out. All right, so now I'm going to give that a little bit of a torch. Then you can come in with like the end of your palette knife and kind of give it more definition. You can just leave it. I'm going to give it slightly, not too much, not all the way to the center, just a little bit. All right. So that is just one of my little blown flowers that I do. I do see a couple of air bubbles. There we go. All right. Nice little kind of fall bloom on a Payne's Gray background. And it does have that garnet, so it does have a little shimmer to it. Thank you, Mike. Very nice. All right, so now we have we're going to just do a dirty pour. All right, so we have another 10 by 10 inch canvas. We are going to do a dirty pour. We are going to use one of these cups. We're going to use a whole bunch of different, this is light taupe. A little bit of the burgundy. We're just going to do a dirty pour, kind of a ribbon pour. Bunch of the gold there. And then I have some country gray, Apple Barrel's country gray. A little bit of the turquoise. A little bit of the Payne's Gray. Same colors we've been using, but we're going to go ahead and add in some rose gold. A bunch of this. We're almost out of this yellow ochre. We almost have enough paint there, though. And we have some burnt sienna. Give it a shake. Haven't used that in a long time. Beautiful fall color, burnt sienna. It's a great color for fall. And we're going to put a little bit of turquoise in there. All right, now we're going to go ahead and just pour this kind of just all over, no order at all. We're putting a whole variety. All right. So just kind of poured it just every which way. And I'm going to go ahead and just put a tiny bit more in the cup. A little bit of that Payne's Gray. And just a little bit of more of that turquoise because I want to go ahead and bring some of that up here. All right, now we'll go ahead and tilt that out and stretch that out. that beautiful shimmery Extreme Sheen Gold. So bright. Then after we tilt it, we'll go ahead and give it a little torch here in just a moment. Back to the center. All right, let me wipe my hands clean so I can grab a hold of my torch. All right, kind of has a southwest kind of fall feel to it almost. I'm gonna go ahead and grab, I kind of want to just take, so just the edge of the palette knife, I think I'm gonna come through just a couple of areas and swipe. Just a little bit, not too much. Kind of just using the, just kind of the tip of it. All right. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you. So, all right, I think I'm going to go ahead and move this one aside. We have one more 6 by 6 inch, and then we have we're going to finish off with a 16 by 20 today. Oh, that does not fit. All right, let me get the 6 by 6. All right. It might be a little bit drippy. All right, so for this one, I've got that Victorian rose. I'm going to put a base down of it. A Victorian tea rose, I believe. This is going to be a swipe. Want enough down to get it over the edge there. We're going to swipe it through the middle, and then we're going to go ahead and stretch it out a little bit down over the sides and such. Those corners are always the hardest. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of the Payne's Gray. Some of this Garnet. The Extreme Sheen Gold. The Yellow Ochre we're almost out of. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and swipe that. And then stretch that out a little bit. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in, I'm gonna wipe my palette knife clean, and then I'm just gonna pull this out just a little bit here so it doesn't look like just so much of a kind of just blob sitting there. All right, now it needs just a little bit of a torch. Nice big cells stretched out with a little bit of lacing. It's got that shimmery gold there, little peaks of that garnet popping up through. And what I like about the Payne's Gray is it looks almost black, but it's just not quite black. It has that kind of bluish undertone, grayish undertone, but it also doesn't take over like a black takes over. If I would have put the same amount of black as I did Payne's Gray, it would have just taken over. So I do enjoy that. I like that about it. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and move this one aside, and then we're going to do a somewhat similar one, but on a larger canvas. All right, let me pull out a large 16 by 20. Go ahead and make some room here, and then we'll get, I just put it on to yogurt cups turned upside down. Let me grab a couple more of those. And I have learned you need the same brand. The two brands are not the same height, even though they're the same size of yogurt. All right, sorry about that. We are got a 16 by 20 inch canvas we're trying to get out here. And then I'm going to do a kind of another stretched swipe there on a 16 by 20 inch canvas, similar what I just did. A few extra colors to get. All right. There we go. Sorry about that. Try to get the whole canvas in the shot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this vintage tea rose, a whole bunch of it down. And then we might have to get some more colors. This is a large canvas. We'll use the rest of that, and then we have another color, and we're going to go ahead and almost mix those on the surface. See, it's a very similar pink, so it'll look really cool, kind of mixed there on the surface. And then I'm actually going to get a third pink. And this one is Cameo Pink. This is Apple Barrel's Cameo Pink. And so when I bring in my palette knife, it'll go ahead and just kind of mix. We'll kind of marble it together almost. We might bring in a little bit of white. It's a great way to use up the last of your paint. And these are all just mixed the same. I do not believe there is any silicone in any of those colors. Let me wipe my palette knife clean. Then we're just going to come in and just kind of almost mix these on the surface. And one obviously must have silicone, which is good. It's fine. You know what? We're going to stop. We're actually going to add a little bit more color, and we're just going to do a swipe today. I started seeing this lacing. Oh, that is so pretty. We're just going to go ahead and go with that. We're going to put some garnet down. We're going to go ahead and just go with that. And we're going to get some gold in here. So we're just going to do a really big swipe, pretty much a whimsy swipe. Look at those. All that lacing, we got to just go with it. Sometimes you'll start out with an intention with a certain technique or a certain look you're going for. I'm just such a perfectionist. That's what I love about paint pouring is you can, it's kind of freeing, and if you just let yourself go and go with what it's kind of just wanting you to do, it's amazing. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get some of this rose gold as well. I think would look nice. Then I'm going to swipe this through. I am going to just drizzle a tiny bit, the tiniest bit of this Payne's Gray. Not much of the Payne's Gray. Then we're going to come back in with our palette knife and swipe some more. All right. We're probably going to come in with both palette knives. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with the bigger palette knife. Then I'll come back through detailing with some of the smaller palette knife. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get this all the way to the edge here. Then I wipe the palette knife clean, come back in, pull this over a little bit more to the edge as well. We're going to come in with our all right. That Payne's Gray is really popping on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe like all the way across here. I picked up a little bit and put it up there in the corner. So I'm going to come in with this smaller palette knife real quick through the middle. All right, wipe my palette knife clean. All right. What a different outcome. I was going to do a pink background with a dirty pour, and then I went with this, and I'm glad I did. It's got that pops of gold popping up through. All right, just got to reach across and get that last little bit. This is a 6 by 16 by 20 inch canvas. So it is a much larger canvas, especially for a swipe like this, but wow, loving it. Just pulling this bottom right over the edge here. I think I'm going to get out a little bit more of that gold. We're going to put just a little string of that gold up through here. And let's see if we can get any more of these pinks out. All these pinks are gone. That's good. Great way to use up the last little bit. Loving those just kind of little bits of Payne's Gray, not too much. Thank you. I'm unsure of which direction I'm wanting to go, is one of the reasons I'm kind of... I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that smaller one, come in more detailed here. All right. Now, all right, that's about it. I think I've got it all covered. I'm going to go ahead and just a slight stretch, not much. It's pretty much where it's going to be, getting a little bit to the right here. Okay, and just need something. I'm trying to decide here. I'm not sure. It feels like it just kind of needs something. I might finish it, just let it dry as this, and then paint something on top. I'm not sure. I might just leave it. I did just a tiny bit of Payne's Gray here on my surface. I'm going to go ahead and just barely. Kind of just to pull that Payne's Gray. It was just over, just kind of balance it out just the tiniest of bit. There we go. I think that's probably pretty good. That's about as good as we're gonna get. This was kind of our grand finale of the day. I did a bunch of 10 by 10 inches. I did a bunch of different 6 by 6 inches, a 7 by 9 inch plaque, a couple of 6 by 6 inches, 10 by 10 inches. I've said the same thing over and over again. So that's about it for today. We usually try to go to about an hour, and so that's a little over an hour. But if you weren't here earlier for my announcement about my Christmas party on December 11th, we will be having a Christmas party here on the channel, and there'll be games and giveaways and just a bunch of fun festivities. I'm going to pour some frosting onto cookies and just a bunch of fun stuff. So I hope you can join us on December 11th. But that will be our only live stream for the month of December. I will not be live on the month of December on our normal Wednesday live streams. I've decided to just take that month off of live streams and instead just do one big Christmas bash instead of doing a whole bunch of streams that month. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. And this has been a great kind of fall inspired, kind of loosely fall inspired paint pours. My favorite one of the day was definitely the reverse flower. And I can't wait to see these dry because they're going to have beautiful shimmer with that garnet and that extreme sheen gold. So I just can't wait to see them dry. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. And you guys have an awesome day. Have an awesome week. And be the change you want to see in the world, guys. Be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you so much.